Management team too here on the Zogg incident. Appreciate you joining us today on today's update. And please, any viewers that need immediate information, if you're in the local area, please call 211 or our information line that's identified at 855-211-7822. And as always, as we've mentioned throughout this incident as well as others, is always be ready for wildfire, and we have a lot of helpful information at readyforwildfire.org. What we'd like to do is now turn this over to Operations Section Chief, Chief Waters, for an update for today. Chief?
Good afternoon, Operations Section Chief Chris Waters on the Zogg incident with an operational update. Quick reminder, fire stretches from on the north up at Whiskeytown Recreation Area, then down south to Highway 36. We've divided this fire into 8 operational divisions for organizational purposes, and we have 2 functional groups, a contingency and a fire suppression repair group, currently actively engaged in the fire. I'm going to go ahead and start and go around the fire. We'll start with Division Alpha. Division Alpha is an area that's been very difficult. It's up on the Clear Creek drainage. Resources are still engaged in there doing mop-up and continuing to build depth to ensure that fire stays where it does. Moving south out of Division Alpha down into the community of I-go south to Highway 36, and then from Highway 36 on the west side of the fire up to Rainbow Lake Road. The fire is pretty well contained. Fire control lines have been constructed. They continue to do some patrol and occasional mop-up, but right now we're feeling really good about that part of the fire. As we move over to Sunny Hill Road, up to Rainbow Lake, we still have resources in there actually doing mop-up and continuing to build depth up to 300 to 500 feet and mop-up and chasing down any other additional hot spots that want to come up. And as we move across the north side of the fire, across what we're calling Division Yankee in the fire scar of the old car fire, really tough terrain, very difficult to access, and we continue to use hand crews, engines, and other resources to continue to mop up. 2 additional activities that are occurring in conjunction with the fire slowing down and the repopulation of folks into the fire perimeter. We're continuing to safe areas within the perimeter of the fire where folks have been evacuated. They're now returning. And then also fire line suppression repair. We're fixing any damage that was caused by fire suppression operations, conducting dust abatement, and then also returning all of the equipment and materials that we utilize to suppress the fire. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Now we'd like to invite up Sheriff McGreeny for an update from law enforcement.
Thank you, Eric McGreeny, Shasta County Sheriff. As you've heard, lots of great work being done here by CAL FIRE to the tune of being able to work with them and get our residents back into these burned out areas. There are 2 areas that are still under evacuation orders at Sunny Hill Road off of Rainbow Lake Road and the top of Zogg Mine Road. With exception to those 2, everything else is open, and that's a big kudos to everybody, the collaborative work here by all involved agencies to be able to, even with our local utilities, to get those areas made safe, get those hazard trees removed, get down power lines and poles put back into place. So we're very happy for that. We have been working over the weekend. There has been some contingency plans being made for the areas of Platina with the August complex. We did put a message out to the residents of Platina that you need to be ready and have a preparation and take this time right now. We don't anticipate it getting into that area, but we still need to be cognizant and mindful. So if something does change and we give that order, again, heed that advice. Do not wait and listen to the instructions being given by your officials. Lastly, I'll add with Code Red, we were able to utilize Code Red during this emergency. That proved to be very effective, and if you have not done so yet, please take the opportunity to sign up for Code Red to receive the latest and best up-to-date information as it becomes an emergency. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. Now we'd like to invite up our Incident Commander, Chief Sean Cavanaugh, for an update.
And good afternoon for joining us for an update on the Zogg incident here on a Monday afternoon. As you heard Chief Waters, we're making really good progress on the incident, and over the next week or so, we're going to see the amount of resources we have being demobbed and getting released off of this incident as we move forward into the week. As we stand right now, the Zogg incident is 56,305 acres, 76% containment. We still have 196 engines, 55 water tenders, 14 helicopters, 39 hand crews, 17 bulldozers for a total personnel of 1,762. As I've been talking about all last week and over the weekend, the weather really has been a key factor for us in where we're at with the containment on the Zogg incident. The smoke inversions have helped us tremendously since basically last Tuesday, with how we've conducted our fire operations on the line, how we've been putting direct line in as we started in on last Wednesday. And so with the weather, it's been our friend. After Sunday, with the amount of the speed of the north winds and what caused this incident, it's turned around and actually helped us to get the containment where we're at today. Moving forward, also finishing up today is the damage assessment that we've done on the entire incident. We're hoping to have those reports finalized today for validation and categorization of all the reports as we move forward. As Sheriff McGraney was just talking about repopulation, as I stated from the very first day, when we start repopulation, we're looking at, or start evacuations, we look at repopulation. It's been a priority. We're continuing to do that. There's still a lot of work that has to be done out on the fire line itself, within the fire perimeter, still with utilities, the cleanup. And I'm going to say again, for everybody that goes back into their homes or back to your property, please do that hazard safety check of your property when you return home. There may be hidden trees or weakened trees, or it could be lines that are down. Please do that safety check of your property before you return. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. And we have some special guests that have joined us for today's update, so I'd now like to turn it over to CAL FIRE Director, Chief Porter. Chief?
Well, thank you. Again, Tom Porter, CAL FIRE Director. It's good to be here, but tough time to be here as well. We've been spending too much time here in Butte County. No, I'm sorry, we're not even in Butte County. We've been spending too much time in Shasta County, but also Butte County, Lake, Napa. It seems like we have some hot spots that we've been dealing with for quite a while, and potentially could continue to do so. Statewide weather, I wanted to just kind of highlight for everyone that we're not out of this, not at all. We had 2 rainstorms that came through before this fire broke. Wasn't a lot of rain. Hopefully Saturday will be more than that. But it's not, by no sense of the imagination is this over yet. Even for the north part of the state, we have potential for drier than normal conditions to carry all the way through the end of November, maybe into December. And then the southern part of the state, we're looking even further on than that, December, possibly into January. So all of that is concerning, and so all of these firefighters, we need to get them home, rested, and ready to go for the next one, because there will be a next one. Just kind of for reference, we are still tracking 23 major fires that have resources attached to them. That means that new fires, while always being the priority, and will always get all of the aircraft and all of the resources available, we still have firefighters attached to 23 major fires throughout the state. And that's going to continue for the foreseeable future. The August fire, just south of here, hit 1 million acres since yesterday. 1 million acres, one complex. That is unheard of in California history. It dwarfs the previous numbers, more than doubles. And we're still in a firefight out there. The rest of what's going on the big picture is the state has surpassed 4 million acres burned this calendar year. 4 million acres. The previous record year that we had was 1.54 million acres. We're on our way to possibly tripling that number, but we're getting close. And it's really stretched our system. It's stretched our system. It has not broken our system. Our system of mutual aid in this state it surpasses anything else known in the world for its capabilities and its flexibility, and we have been working that every piece of the way. Every piece. There have been firefighters from every fire department in California and beyond. Many of our states, our state partners have helped us, including out-of-state resources from Canada, Mexico, Israel, and as this continues to go on, we'll see. Hopefully we don't have to call anymore. But until we come to questions, I'm going to leave it at that and direct it back to the incident.
Thank you, Chief. Now we'd like to invite up Cal OES Director Gerducci.
All right, good afternoon. Mark Gilarducci, of the Director of the Governor's Office of Emergency Services here in Governor Newsom's office. First of all, let me just say our tremendous hearts and thoughts and prayers go out to those who have lost structures. We know that this has been a very challenging time, notwithstanding the COVID environment that we're all dealing with and the complexities that are brought with the firefight and firefighting effort, but just the fact that we're back here again on another fire. This isn't, our first time. We've been here before with you all. And we got through that before, and we'll get through that again this time. It is all about working together. The COVID makes it a little bit more challenging, make things stretch out a little bit more, but I want to tell you that we're very actively engaged as the agency coordinating the state's effort of all these response to all these fires, as well as the COVID. A lot of resources being engaged and committed. I want to thank, right from the get-go, our partners at FEMA, who have been with us every step of the way throughout the process and are here with us today. Our effort today here is to come up and do a damage assessment, take a look at the amount of impact this fire has had in the community, and begin the process by which we go on the recovery pathway. Early on, Governor Newsom did proclaim a state of emergency for the Shasta County and the Zogg fire. That of course, opened up a number of state programs. It focused state assets to support the operations here in Shasta. But it also opened up a program called the California Disaster Assistance Act, which helps the county on recovery operations. It also gave us the ability to engage in a much more extensive way with our federal partners at FEMA. One way we did is early on, we were able to achieve, obtain a fire management assistance grant from the Federal Emergency Management Agency. That was very critical because that helped us to provide additional resources to be able to fight this fire and begin the recovery process. That FMEG will stay in place through the point that we don't need resources to respond to the fire. It's important to note, and you'll hear from others, our partners at not just CAL FIRE, California Highway Patrol, California National Guard, Department of Toxic Substance Control, Cal EPA, all of the state family, every state agency has been brought to bear to respond to this fire and the other 23 fires that Chief Porter talked about. I'm going to talk a little bit about recovery process. And, if you're in Shasta County, you know how this works. We were here in the Carr fire just a couple of years back. Really, recovery starts with you looking at what kind of insurance you have. That's sort of your first line, and we encourage you to look at that. Call your insurance agent, talk to them if you've suffered a loss or you have damage in your residence. We're also working with the county to open up a local assistance center, both in person and probably virtually as well, to be able to account for the needs of individuals. There will be state agencies and other departments there that could help you with critical records, driver's licenses, tax forms, other kinds of things you may have lost in the fire, and help you build a recovery plan in the step-by-step moving forward. As well, we will be tasking the Department of Toxic Substance Control, working with the county to begin and come in and start doing hazardous materials and household hazardous waste removal. That is paints and propanes and other kinds of hazardous materials that may exist within the property where losses occurred. And then from that point, we'll work with the county and all of you, for those who are interested, to begin the debris removal process be able to get the debris cleared out so that you can get your property prepared for rebuilding. While that's all happening, we are working closely with FEMA to see about obtaining additional federal assistance for individuals. We do not yet have that turned on for Shasta County. One of the reasons we're here today is to make sure that we work through all that. And so we are going to be actively pursuing that. We briefed the governor this morning about this trip, where we're kind of at. He's been getting actually daily briefings on these fires, and he has been in close coordination with the White House and with the president on the fires at least a couple times a week, briefing them on what's happening. So with that, I just will tell you that we are going to be here with you all for the coming weeks, and we'll be able to answer many more questions that you may have once we get these local assistance centers in place. With that, thanks.
Thank you, Director. Now I'd like to invite up National Guard General Baldwin for an update.
Good afternoon, everybody. Like for everybody else, this has been a pretty interesting year for the Cal Guard. In addition to all of our overseas commitments with the war fight that we've had ongoing since the global war on terror started, this has been our busiest year in the history of the California National Guard domestically, with all of the emergencies that we were responding to. We currently have about 2,000 soldiers and airmen on duty supporting emergency operations throughout the state. On this particular fire in Shasta County, we have 205 soldiers and airmen assigned. We're fighting the fires on the ground with firefighting hand crews. We're fighting the fires from the air with water bucket-equipped helicopters. We've flown 14 sorties from our modular airborne firefighting systems, which is a system we put in the back of our Air National Guard cargo aircraft that enables them to behave like air tankers to do fire suppression and put down retardant. We're also working to press the envelope with innovation, with all the new technology that we're fielding that aids us in the warfight to find solutions to problems that CAL FIRE and law enforcement might have here in the state. So in this fire, we've flown MQ-9 Reaper drones to assist with fire mapping, and coupled that with space-based systems that we're using to assist us with fire detection, to assist us with fire mapping, but probably most importantly to the people now that we're in this stage of the fire, for all your constituents and the people here in Shasta and the affected counties, is to assist with damage assessments, so that we're using those technologies coupled with a new artificial intelligence system that we're working with the Department of Defense to very rapidly ascertain where the fire was, where the fire wasn't, so that we can assist the state fire marshal and the county officials in counting the damaged structures as soon as possible, so that we can help get the state and federal aid that those families that lost those homes or those businesses need as soon as possible. So we're working hard to continue to do that, and we're very proud to be working as part of our interagency team here in the state with CAL FIRE in the lead, and then with the local law enforcement and all the allied fire agencies and emergency services. So thank you very much.
Thank you, General. Now I'd like to invite CHP Commissioner Stanley for an update.
Good afternoon. Warren Stanley, CHP Commissioner. First of all, I want to thank Sheriff. Thank you for your support with our personnel here. We have about 10 personnel assigned specifically to this fire to assist the community with traffic control, with evacuation, and also general law enforcement. And when I speak of traffic control, and I think the sheriff would agree, it's so important. We know that you as the public and the community want to get back to your homes, but we have those roadways shut down for a specific reason, because there's active fire and we need to get our fire personnel and their equipment in and out, and other utility entities in there, so we can mitigate this fire and then get you back home as soon as possible. So I want to thank the community with their support for that, because that is so important. One of the other things that I'll mention for a minute, I'm sure Chief Tom Porter will maybe talk about it later, is you know, we got some rain coming, but things are going to dry out, and we're going to be right back in it. One of the things that the chief mentioned last week when we were talking, over the course of time, in the last couple of months, made 68 arrests for arson. And a lot of that information that helped CAL FIRE and other law enforcement agencies make those arrests is information that was received from the public. So I would hope the public would continue to be on the lookout as we get past, the rain that's coming, because things are going to dry out again. And if you see something, please report it to CAL FIRE, to your local sheriff's department, police department, or the California Highway Patrol. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Now we'd like to get our local unit chief, Chief Gaya, for an update regarding the local unit.
Well, good afternoon, Brett Gavea, CAL FIRE Unit Chief, Shasta Trinity Unit. You know, this has been a long summer, and there's still a lot of fire on the ground out there. And behind me, there's a map here of a fire that's 56,000 acres, and you wonder how that gets put out in 7 or 8 days. It's a testament to the mutual aid that we all have together in the state of California. There is no other state like it in the nation, both on law enforcement and fire side of the house. To our EMS providers, they come together and they do it. You know, early Saturday or early Sunday morning, the glass fire broke out down in Calistoga, and we sent resources down there. However, when that afternoon, when we had the Zogg fire begin, we had resources come from all of our partners here in Shasta County. And my sincere thanks to all of them. And then over the course of the next several days, we had partners come off of other fires throughout the entire state, all the way down to Southern California. We couldn't do this without that system and the cooperation from everybody. Secondly, please, with all the activities that you're doing out there, consider fire safety. We don't need any more damage. We don't need any more loss of life or loss of home. Help us get through the rest of this summer. With everything that you do, please think about that. And finally, for those that have lost loved ones, those that have lost homes in our communities, we're here with you. We're here with you till the end. It is a tragic thing. One thing we saw 2 years ago with the Carr fire is this county came together with some resiliency and recovered in a miraculous amount of time. And I have no doubt that we will come together again over the coming weeks and months, and we'll recover from this again. So have a good afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. This will conclude today's update regarding the Zogg incident. We will continue to provide updates via email and social media before 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. Again, just wanted to thank all of our partners throughout this incident, and special thanks to our representatives that arrived today, as well as to give an update. Again, if you'd like information, if you live here in the local area, please call 211, or you can call 855-211-7822. Thank you. Have a fire safe day.